you had on the 6th of July, by you, I mean collectively as the SAPS members, you had indicated that this interference is from all different quarters, and you listed them. So we've dealt with every category, political, by political women, parliamentarians, executives, you dealt with business people. You had listed the judiciary there as a heading. You picked that up from paragraph 159. You could turn there. Commissioners before General Mkhwanazi decided to give one example per category. There were a few examples. In whittling it down and trying to make the evidence, his testimony manageable, the narrative is from page 159. There is a name that appears above that narrative.
Paragraph 159.
159.
Not page, yeah.
Yes, paragraph 159, thank you. There is a name that appears above paragraph 159. I'm not going to call out, it is wrong. I would like you to please redact that name, and the name must be Vusi Musi Mahlangu. But the rest of the paragraphs stay the same. And as I said, in the process of reduction, the narrative relative to the individual got mixed up. So we apologize for that. I won't even call that name. I'm correct that what you want to testify to in this regard relates to Magistrate Mahlangu. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Then you may start from page paragraph 159.
Commissioners, I had said when I started that we are investigating and evidence comes up that leads into another investigation.
Sorry for that, General. You may continue.
Commissioners, I had indicated that as we investigate, we gather information which leads us into another investigation as we uncover certain things, it leads us into another investigation. So we end up seeing the picture of everything without knowing at the beginning what will have caused. That's why we end up seeing the picture. So the picture that we started seeing, that I've been demonstrating for the 2 days and a half, is that the team that was working in KZN, which was supervised by General Khumalo, and find themselves having to second members to come to Gauteng to assist the Gauteng police on an operation that is under intelligence that is managed by General Khumalo. And this operation in Gauteng was dealing with the drug cartel, and some of them are arrested, the Molifes, the Matlalas, and there are many others that are a part of the list of what the team have identified. Police officers in part of it, and so forth. Now there are 2 operations, 1 man. 2 operations, 1 division. And this person is at crime intelligence. Is busy with 2 things. Is busy with, actually 3 things. Is busy with an investigation of coordination of KZN political issues. Is busy with the organized crime of Gauteng on one side, but is busy managing the division that is called crime intelligence, trying to put reforms and fix things up there. Now, the letter of 31 December 2024 that disbands the team, it triggers my inquiry. So as I inquire on what these members are doing, I begin to know about this level of corruption and criminality happening in Gauteng and the challenges the team is facing. And through my sources that I deployed in different structures also of different departments as well as a community around, I stayed, which I didn't say earlier, I worked in Gauteng for more than 20 years. I stayed here. So I know every corner of this province. So I have people that I know that I talk to and they feed me information, police officers and other private people that still give me information about what's happening in this province. And I'm collaborating that with what the team is telling me, and then I conclude that the target here is to deal with this organized crime investigation, not the political task team. But because the members are here, the people that want to fight this, they think that it's a political task team. So they wrote a wrong letter. They disbanded the wrong team. They were supposed to deal with the Gauteng organized counterintelligence operations, not the political killings task team. But here we are. Who's part of this Gauteng counterintelligence? It's the very same person who's part of the team. And this person, coincidentally, on the structure which I displayed on the first day, it reports to one person, Gerald Spear. The very same person, in terms of the structure, must communicate with Gerald Spear to the National Commission. In his investigation on organized crime, he sees some linkages and names of Spear that come into the picture. The members that are busy with this investigation, they are engaging with some senior officers in Gauteng that are socializing with some of these drug dealers. And that becomes risky. Now it's within counterintelligence. So when we see the member of parliament who claims in publicly that he was minding his business and next thing underneath his door, there was a report from crime intelligence that flew into under his door. He took that report and he went to a police station to open a case. Gerald Khumalo is going to come and present the details about that because there is already an evidence of a communication between the member of parliament and members of crime intelligence, specific Gerald Khan, and the Inspector General of Intelligence, who is the anchor in all this. So what we're seeing happening is that these cases are open in Cape Town. The following day, they are open in Johannesburg. One of the charges in these dockets, which the member of parliament is all welcome to open cases if you feel there's something illegal that's happening. But one of the charges is about the appointment of that Ms. Mokwele, who came from BMW, who came into the police, as one of the charges. We know in public space some so-called, so that the commissions can get to see exactly what is it that she was doing there, and how much was she paid, and what is she doing in the police, and what is she paid, how she came about being appointed. That one will be presented later. But when we see a case opened in two provinces and it gets transferred by the Chief of Staff of the Minister of Police to IDEC, and IDEC is in position of this in 2025, towards the end of the year. But the case that...
Apologies, General.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Khumalo wanted to correct you. Please consider the year, you say end of the year?
2024.
Okay, you had said 2025. Thanks.
Sorry, so my bad. End of the year 2025, which I referred to earlier, that Mr. Adams, a member of parliament, had opened cases in Cape Town and Johannesburg, and that was transferred by the letter of the Chief of Staff of the Minister of Police to IDEC within NPA for investigation. So IDEC had written a letter to the Divisional Commissioner of Detective Service to hand over those dockets, which was done towards the end of 2024. So IDEC is now in possession of complaints. I had said earlier, the report from Inspectorate said there's no elements of crime on this complaint. It's a hearsay. The legal services from the police are saying the same thing. Mr. Adams does not avail himself to be interviewed in order to deal with this complaint. But fast forward, commissioners, General Khumalo and the team, one of the critical two people I'm going to mention in the team is the provincial head of crime intelligence in Gauteng, who started this, who brought General Khumalo into the picture, because he was approached by the head of detectives in Gauteng and said, there are threats against my members, please assist with the threat assessment. It is that General Lukalakala who spoke to Ntuli to conduct that threat analysis, and they reported to General Khumalo. So they invited General Khumalo to get involved as Gauteng. So that Lukalakala is arrested with Khumalo. And the charges that they are arrested for, or the case they are arrested for, it's a case that is with IDEC. The case is opened in June of 2025. But the case has got the same charges, a complaint from Mr. Adams, similar to what Mr. Adams deposited the previous year, 2024, in October in Cape Town and in November in Johannesburg. It's a similar complaint that these members are arrested for by IDEC in June. But what is strange about it, Commissioners, is that instead of IDEC working on the complaint of Adams, which had no basis for a complaint, and effect arrest on that, they did not to date. But they sought to get Mr. Adams to deposit another statement, whether it was coached or whatever. He deposited another statement at the beginning of 2025 in January to IDEC, a completely new statement, which now must prove to some degree that there is crime. So that what enabled IDEC to then investigate. In January, the statement is dated. In June, the case is registered. The same June, these members are arrested.
Can you please detail the differences between the two statements for me to follow the point you've just made?
Commissioner, I'm going to invite the team to bring that have been arrested and charged, to bring the copy of the charge sheet and the statement that was deposited in that case docket to come and present to the Commission. I don't have it with me, but I have access to it and I read it. So that's why I'm able to draw comparison between this and that. So the question I was asking, but IDEC, why didn't you arrest them on the October and November complaint? Why did you put another statement in January?
That being the complaint of quote-unquote interception.
All what was mentioned in October and November in Cape Town and Johannesburg, one of those was the appointment of this Ms. Mukwele. The arrest is about Ms. Mukwele.
Okay, all right.
But the statement from the complainant, Mr. Adams, is dated January now. It's a new one. Okay. A completely new statement which was retaken. But the case is not a similar case as those two. So it's another completely new case that is registered, as if it's a new thing. But, well, if there's evidence of a crime, I'm not going to argue that. They've got all the rights. If there's crime committed, they must act on it. They've got all the right. But what is strange, Commissioner, I'm going to invite South Africans to go to that court and, if so, demand to see the charge sheet. I'm not a lawyer. Many South Africans are not lawyers, but they will read what is sitting in the charge sheet. And they will know that this, in any given day, it should not have landed in a criminal court of law. But it is there. Magistrate signs a warrant, or IDEC investigator signs a statement and gives it to the prosecutor in IDEC, who signs off that statement. It goes to the magistrate approves the warrant of arrest, and these people are arrested. And they go to court. In court, strange things happen, Commissioner. That's what makes me to then get to worry. That's why I'm talking about it here today. Because one of the strange things that happened, it involves a magistrate who's presiding over a case that the members from crime intelligence are arrested on. He imposed a very bizarre bail condition towards those members. And the bail condition that is imposed by the magistrate in that case against these members from crime intelligence said explicitly that these members who are arrested for facilitating the appointment of Ms. Mukwele from BMW to crime intelligence are barred from going. Not this incident happened in Pretoria in their offices. They are barred not to go into any premises of crime intelligence anywhere in the Republic of South Africa. That's a bail condition. This is not what the state asked for, but this is what the magistrate took it upon himself to impose on these members. Remember, Commissioner said, it's the same team that is busy with the operation of Gauteng counterintelligence operation. They are barred by magistrate to get involved or enter any premises of crime intelligence. So by default, it means the operation that they are busy with against the drug cartel must stop immediately. So, as I said, maybe the magistrate, someone will say, no, he erred, it was an overreach. I don't believe it's that. I believe it was a calculated move to make sure that they put a stop on the involvement of these members with this operation. And I can confirm to date, commissioners, that that operation stopped. While the members are crippling, trying to work, but it's frustrated. But it doesn't end there. It does not end there, because a person who's got an oversight in the runnings of crime intelligence, which is the Inspector General of Intelligence, is demanding the files of that operation. He wants to know what's happening with that operation himself, which is very interesting. Why would the Inspector General be interested on an operation specific? So we have no other reason than to believe that this bail condition, not the arrest, maybe they did wrong during the appointment of this individual that warrants such a case and such charges. Maybe it's justified, but the bail condition is a problem. And for those that follow the case, and I've seen media houses that are here today, they go to court, they listen to the argument, and they go out and they file their reports and they come back to court. The last one was supposed to be on Monday last week. It was postponed because the recording my device was not working in court. And it was just only one courtroom. The others were working. But that one, so there has to be this delay of them coming back. What is strange that happened, which I did not put here, commissioners, is that many of those members that were arrested, one of them that is one of the charges, he's got two charges. The other one I don't want to talk about the prostitute and the loss of a firearm and stuff like that. He has to answer on that case. But he's also charged on the appointment of this Ms. Mukweli. So when the whole lot appeared in court and they were granted bail with those conditions, this one was kept in custody and he appeared alone the following week. When he appeared alone, he appeared before a different magistrate. And the different magistrate made it clear and said, it's not the job of the court to put conditions about where to work, where not to work. We are releasing on bail, go back to work. It is the National Commission of the Police that will decide whether to enter this building or not. Because the state does not say that your being in that building, how is it going to affect the bail condition or the witnesses that are there. So this is a bail condition given to one accused. And this one accused occupies a position of a CFO of this secret fund at Crime Intelligence. He was suspension ends, and he pitched up at Crime Intelligence to go back to work. And he was told not to go back to work. Yeah, well, National Commission will come and explain the reasons for that, but Ms. Colin Barnard released a publication on that, and she was very aggressive towards the National Commissioner, saying that the National Commissioner does not even know the terms of the bail condition of this person. The court said this person must not enter the building of Crime Intelligence. She said that, and she wrote it down, and the bail condition does not say that. So it means she missed that the other magistrate is the one who came with the condition, but the other one that affects this CFO did not say that. But she is of an opinion that this person is not supposed to enter the buildings of Crime Intelligence. So therefore, and I'm told by the National Commission going to come here that the head of IDEC phoned the National Commission and said that person must not come back to that building, the CFO, despite that the bail condition does not demand that. So this is just to show that there are all the efforts that have been put in place, not against the members of Crime Intelligence that are accused of appointing a wrong person. If they did that, they must be penalized, it's fine. But there's an overreach in getting to frustrate this project. So this is part of the ongoing things that are happening as we are sitting here today. That the project against Matlalas, against Mulifes and the others is being frustrated because the people responsible for this project are told by the magistrate never to enter the premises where this project is running.
So in short, General, you are saying someone must have influenced the first magistrate.
Commissioner, you are a judge. I'm sure, I don't know whether you will have access to get to see the charge sheet. You will make your conclusion, and you are all legal experts, whether was the statement from the investigating officer, or so-called investigating officer, I must qualify that. The investigating officer, Mr. Padayachi from IDEC, which was deposited, was brought to the magistrate seeking the approval of the warrant of arrest, whether was it justifiable for the magistrate to sign it. Then fast forward, you're coming to court. In court, you have a magistrate that comes with these bail conditions, whether was it justified. So behaviors of both senior people within the court, it makes me conclude that it's a part of a plan to frustrate this project. So I invite the commissioners to have access into this record in court so that we can be able to see what are they charged for and what crime did they commit. And while on that, I'm going to invite you to, I spoke about IDEC yesterday, that the arresting officer, which the court gave instruction on the bail condition that if these members want anything at crime intelligence premises, they must contact an investigating officer, Mr. Padayachi. Mr. Padayachi has never touched a case docket in his life. It's a person who's an ex-employee of the police. It's an individual who's an ex-crime intelligence member. But he's a head of that investigation against these members of crime intelligence. It is the magistrate that grants this Padayachi a right to have access to crime intelligence. If these members want anything at crime intelligence, they must talk to him. So we invite the commissioner to go and check on the record of the appointment of Padayachi in IDEC, his qualifications, and IDEC may will come here and justify why did they choose such a person to become a senior investigator at IDEC that is charged with the responsibility of dealing with serious crime, and yet to bring a person who is retired from the police to become a head of investigation at IDEC with no qualification whatsoever on investigations, and grant that person an authority to be the one that is going to handle these matters. So I invite the commissioner to go deeper into that matter. I don't want to engage more on it, but it's a worry for me because it's a picture that is there for everyone to see. So what is then in the media, Commissioner, as part of the strategy, I said, this is how it works. Make them look bad. Oh, at last, the people at crime intelligence, they've been arrested because of the slush fund. We still have players at crime intelligence that were there in 2011 who are part of this plan, and they are still there today. Bran Mokhotsis are referring to them. So
General,
I'm going to end it there.
As you end there, would I be correct, and I apologize if I interrupted you, I didn't mean to. Would I be correct with reference to your statement that what you have just engaged the commissioners on is summarized at your paragraph 162? I would like you to have a glance there. Would that be a correct assumption on my part, or at least interpretation of your statement?
That's correct.
Okay, so insofar then as your concern regarding the judiciary is concerned, and in particular this one magistrate, and in the specific case, you draw a conclusion at paragraph 163 that you may want to summarize.
If I were to read this one on my conclusion, Commissioners, if you allow me, I say again, raise a concerning feature of this criminal investigation, as well as its progression through the courts. The complaint originates from Mr. Adams, the Member of Parliament, and I've explained in my statement its dubious genesis. As to the role of IDEC, I fail to see how an employment matter of a mid-level employee rises to the level of serious, high-profile or complex corruption or unlawful activities arising from the State Capture Commission. This is where I end, because I believe this is what IDEC is about. But this is now about an employment of a mid-level manager employee that throws IDEC into the picture from the same complainant, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, General. That concludes then the conversation as regards the complaint against the magistrate. Chair, I see at 12:49 we are starting a new chapter. Should we start and then we'll break at 1?
Let's do that,
Let's
please.
do that.
Thank you.
General, I'll invite you then to go to
Nothing. Sure, I would do honestly.